Coming up on Sixers Now, we have a big update on Joel Embiid as Philly sorely misses him. And then we're going to talk about a Sixers legend in a way, and you might not even realize it. That's Mike Muscala, and we'll talk about whether or not Philadelphia is going to sign him. But welcome into Sixers Now. Matthew Peterson here, filling in for the one and only Chase Sr., who was in Indianapolis for the NFL Combine, covering it with our Chat Sports crew. But we have an update on Joel Embiid, and I know the entire city of brotherly love has been looking for the latest on 21, as Woj put out a new report on his knee and on the update as the Sixers are hopeful Embiid can start practicing in late March and return by the playoffs. Here's what Woj said. They are still optimistic that they can get him back. There's some hope that he can get him back on the court by sometime in late March. Back starting to get into condition. The goal isn't necessarily to try and bring him back and see how many regular season games you might be able to win with him. The goal is to get him as healthy as he can be for the postseason. Hope they can hang in where they are, and then they have a spree and mobile and conditioned of a lot of a Joel Embiid as they can for what they would be either a play-in game, maybe as a 7 seed or at a 5 or 6. You know, a nightmare first-round matchup for a team that gets home court advantage in the East, and all of a sudden, here comes a healthy Joel Embiid with a Buddy Hield, with Kyle Lowry, and with the additions. We're probably about a week away from him getting an update on a timeline with him, but I think there's still optimism in Philly that we will see Joel Embiid again this season. I don't know if you guys had one big takeaway from that spiel from Woj, but my big takeaway was the word we keep hearing, hopeful. I'm just getting impatient. I just rather hear a return date rather than being told hopeful and hopeful and hopeful, right? This has sort of been the entire story of Joel Embiid of every time he's been injured with Philly, just hopeful that he comes back soon. So if you want Embiid to get back for the playoffs, I can't guarantee typing 21 will get it done, but I can't not guarantee it. So if we're not going to get any good news from Woj in terms of a timeline update, well, how about we just start spamming 21 to get him back on the court as soon as possible? Now, we also have an update from the man himself, Joel Embiid, because, well, who doesn't want to get more updates on him? Here's what he said on if he's coming back this year. That's the plan. Obviously, everything has to go right as far as getting healthy and being as close as I'm supposed to be. But yeah, that's the plan. There's really no timeline. It all depends on how the body reacts, especially once you start ramping up. I just love playing basketball. I want to be on the floor as much as possible. Any chance that I get, I want to be on the floor. It doesn't matter where we are. I just want to play as much as I can and try to help us. So now the question is, can the Sixers tread water? Can they stay alive without Joel Embiid for the rest of the regular season potentially, or until late March, which is almost the end of the regular season? When you look at the Eastern Conference standings, Philly currently sits on February 29th at the number 6 spot with a 33-25 record. In their last 10 games, they are 3-7. They have slid from, at one point, being a top 3 team in the Eastern Conference to now approaching into bubble territory without Joel Embiid. And since Joel's been out, here are some very sad stats. Points, they are 23rd. Field goal percentage, the same. 3-point percentage, 24th. Offensive rating, 23rd. Defensive rating, 28th. Net rating, 25th. You may not know what the offense and defensive ratings really mean, but you at least know you don't want to be 23rd and 28th. Now you're in the territory of the Detroit Pistons. I'd be worried about the Sixers falling to the play-in game. We've seen some other teams in the East starting to pick up a lot of momentum lately, right? The Bulls are starting to put together some wins here. We got the best team in the Eastern Conference right now with the the Cleveland Cavaliers winning a lot of games since the NBA All-Star break. They're getting better and better. I'd be worried about the Sixers starting to slide into that play-in game. And hey, if they are in the play-in game with Joel Embiid, that's a team no one wants to face. But at the same time, if they are in the play-in game, they are just 1 or 2 bad nights away from basically missing the postseason altogether. So what seed will the Sixers finish with in the East? Can they stay above the play-in game area? Can they stay at 6? Can they get better? Or do you think this is a playoff team bound or play-in team bound? Get in the comment section below and let me know. Now, next up on the show, we're going to talk about whether or not Philadelphia will be signing Mike Muscala. the Philly legend that you don't even know that is that big of a legend, or maybe you do. But before we do, today's show is sponsored by Factor. Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals make eating better every day. Wherever tomorrow takes you, be ready with pre-prepared, chef-crafted, and dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. 2-minute meals. Fuel up fast with Factor's restaurant-quality meals that are ready to heat and eat whenever you are. Factor is the perfect solution if you're looking for fast, upscale options done easily. So head to factormeals.com/SixersChat50 and use code SixersChat50 to get 50% off. That's code SixersChat50 at factormeals.com/SixersChat50 for 50% off. All that information is in the comments and description of today's video. Now, let's talk about Mike Muscala and whether or not Philadelphia would be interested in adding him as, well, I think all options should be on the table for a team that's really starting to slip the last month or so. Woj tweeted out this. ESPN sources. Detroit Pistons center Mike Muscala is finalizing a contract buyout, clearing the way for him to be eligible for the playoffs with his next team. Muscala has interest of a few contenders. Take that from Woj, and now let's add on what Brett Siegel had to tweet out. Keep an eye on the 76ers, Thunder, and Suns as 3 potential landing spots for Mike Muscala. All 3 teams have an open roster spot and would benefit from adding a big man who can space the floor. A reunion in OKC would be poetic for Muscala. Now, for those that don't know, Mike Muscala might just be a random big that hops around the league a little bit. But he's a Philly legend. And let me fill you in. Go back in time in the bubble when the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Miami Heat were playing a meaningless game in terms of seeding. So a lot of teams, or both these teams, were resting a lot of their key players. So that paved the way for Mike Muscala to get some extra minutes. And boy, did he take advantage of that. He hit 2 very key shots, including a 3 very late in the game, which gave Oklahoma City the win. And because of that win, a draft pick that was protected then went to the Philadelphia 76ers. Do you want to know what they do with that 21st overall pick? That's Tyrese Maxey. So thank Mike Muscala for Tyrese Maxey being in the city of brotherly love because of a meaningless 3 in a bubble game against the Miami Heat. So let's show the guy some legend and type MM in the comment section below. Who knows? These athletes are always name searching. He may stumble across this video. He may see some love from Philadelphia and decide that's the team I want to go to next. And you know what? The numbers are down this year, but Mike Muscala would be a good fit, right? A center that can space the floor a little bit. You're definitely missing the offensive input from Joel Embiid, who carried that number 5 role on this team. And Muscala, yes, not having a great season. You can see the slide from 2020 all the way to 2023, but he is still a big that can shoot the three-point ball. And right now, Philadelphia is looking for an overall spark on offense and just an overall influx of talent because the Sixers need size, they need shooting abilities, and Muscala is both of those things. Now, is he the same guy that he was a few years ago when he was hitting big threes for the Philadelphia 76ers by way of the Oklahoma City Thunder? No, not really. But the former Bucknell Bison, I still think he's got some good basketball left in him. And right now, Philadelphia needs some sort of spark. They need a catalyst. They need someone to come in here with a jolt of energy, to make a big 3, to make a big play for this team, to keep their head above water until Joel Embiid can return. And you know who's not making that big play? It's our friend Mo Bamba. You're not getting that out of him right now. So I'm all for, with an open roster spot anyway, bringing on Muscala, swapping out some minutes with Mo Bamba, and trying to get some sort of spark on this offense because Philly desperately needs it. You look at the current lineup right now, without Joel Embiid out there, you got B-Ball Paul, Buddy Hield, and Tyrese Maxey leading the way up front, but Harris and Nicholas Batum, on the wings, I think you could benefit from an extra shooter like Muscala while also getting some nice height and some nice size down near the rim to be a rim protector. So should the Sixers sign Mike Muscala, S for sign, P for pass, this is your opportunity to be Nick Nurse, to be the GM, to be the man calling the shots for Philadelphia, and give me your opinion down below. That will do it for us on today's show. I appreciate everyone powering through a video without Chase Sr. He should be back soon, so you guys will be back in good hands. But thank you for watching all the way to the end of the video, and make sure to like today's video if you have not already.